Hey, what's up you guys, it's Jackson here and welcome along to the Red Bull Ring for a track guide in the Porsche GT3 Cup car. 1 minute 30.8 is the lap time today. Just before we jump into it, if you do learn anything from this track guide, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button just to help out with the YouTube algorithm and all that good stuff. And if you want to see more of these track guides in the Porsche, make sure to hit that subscribe button just to let me know that you'd like to see more, and I'll hopefully be able to keep making them for you. But I've wasted enough of your time. Let's jump straight into the guide here at the Red Bull Ring. Coming up to turn 1, we are going to be braking between the 150 and the 100 board here, using plenty of road on the left. So look, before we go any further, it needs to be said that this track is really limited by off-tracks and track limits. So I'm going to spend a lot of time during this guide talking about where the track limits are, because it's absolutely crucial to your lap time. So as we come here into turn 1, you can sit the car not all the way off the track obviously, but you can sit the left hand wheel sort of over here on this green bit to make sure you're getting the widest possible entry here into turn 1. So we're braking right there. So if I just drag that back, there we go. So about halfway between the 150 and the 100 on the brakes, down to third gear. Nice and wide on the entrance, turning it in, picking up the throttle, making sure not to hit that yellow curb on the inside. And we're going right to this sausage curb. That's right on the limit. If you can keep it inside, that is a little bit nicer in terms of you get some wheel spin when you ride up the curb. But you can ride your left-hand wheels up and over it. Pulling gears now on the run up here to, I think they call it turn 3, I'm not sure, but a massive uphill braking zone, so you can brake really late. We're braking well after the 150, just before the 100, pulling down to second gear. And then what I'm doing, I've seen a bunch of people braking on the curb here, but I find that a little bit uncomfortable. The car sort of gets unsettled, it's just not that pleasant. So I'm braking on the road, you see, and then late before I turn in, I'm just drifting over to the left just to open this corner up a little bit, because it is quite tight. You can take this corner in first gear. I'm personally using second to just sort of minimise the wheel spin on the exit. So making sure you're right on the threshold of braking on the way in, roll it through, pick up second gear, and again you can go out to that yellow curb, but you don't really want to sit up on it. This is one weird corner where if you miss the apex, you can actually kind of get away with it. So you don't have to worry too much about that as long as you're getting on the power nice and hard on the exit. This next corner is a really tricky one, a massive downhill braking zone. The car just wants to skate straight off the road, so you got to actually brake a fair bit earlier than you might initially think, and make sure you don't lock the rears on the run in here. So we're braking just after the 150, and we're going to be going down to second gear. And you want to make sure you're taking a nice chunky curb here on the entrance. Get the throttle down as hard as you possibly can. And then pulling fifth gear before we head up into this left-hander. Again, this is one of the corners where you really want to make sure you're out wide on the entrance. So we're sitting, there you go, see our left wheels are on the road, but the rest of the car is basically off. Down to third gear. Turning in nice and late. As you can see, you can't really see the apex here, so bit of a tricky one. You want to get nice and close, just touch that curb. I'm finding if you put too much of the car on that curb on the inside, it'll spin up the rear tyre and you won't be able to get the power down. So you can see I'm about half throttle here, trying to get the power down, and then bang, we're flat out. And then here, track limits are critical. I actually haven't used enough of the road here, to be honest, because you just need to keep your left-hand wheels on this red and white curb. So I've given away probably half the car width, or a bit less than that, quarter of a car width there, so there's a bit more time to be found there. Turning into this left-hander, this is a really painful corner, really waiting on the front tyres to bite here, so a little light brake, and then we're just grabbing the curb here on the inside a little bit. I'm holding fourth gear, picking up the power. Got to make sure you're aware of the track limits here. Again, you've got to keep your left tyres on the red and white curb, just like that. And then we'll run up to these final two corners. Really fun corners here. I'm just holding it in fifth. We are redlining, but not really for long enough to warrant pulling fourth gear for me. And just after the 100 board, we're going to hit the brakes, run it out to this curb on the left, and go down to fourth gear, just like that. Over the curb on the inside, bang, pick up the power, And then the track limits at this corner and this next corner are a little bit different. So you're not worried about the red and white curb, you're worried about the green and white. Not just the green and white. That's why you need to keep your two right-hand tyres on these two corners. So like that, you can see the right-hand tyres on the green and white, the rest of the car is well over. And that allows you to keep the momentum up through that first right-hander and then get a nice wide entry into this second one. Braking again with the second one, holding it in fourth gear. Don't want to take too much of that yellow stuff. And then just waiting on the front, waiting on the nose before you can get on the power. Making sure not to go wide, there's track limits there. You can actually get a slowdown on the exit of that one if you run too wide, so you want to be careful there. Get the power down nice and hard, and across the line for a 1:30.868. So that's a lap of the Red Bull Ring. Let me know if you learned something today. Let me know in the comments below what lap times you're doing. I'd love to hear. And just before we head into the hot lap, without me rambling over the top of it, if you would like to learn some more and keep improving your driving, I do some one-on-one coaching in the Porsche car. So there is a link below in the description. If you just hit that one, you can learn more about my one-on-one coaching options. Basically, it's 20 iRacing credits or $20 US for a 1 hour session, and I'll sit with you and look at your driving style, see what tips and techniques I have to offer you, tips for that track that you're specifically driving on, but more importantly, tips so you can take 20 track on iRacing so that you can become a better driver and keep improving at a faster rate than you would otherwise. So hit that link down below to learn more, and otherwise, I'll see you next week.